So today we will see installation of CentOS 7 operating system, and while the operating system is being installed, it will take around 1 hour time. Okay, while the operating system is being installed, it will take 1 hour time. In that meantime, when the operating system is installing in the background, we will see Linux file system hierarchy and other topics. Okay, today we will see starting. Okay. See, I think I am assuming that everybody knows installation of VMware Workstation. Any if you don't know, you can please tell me just now itself. I have installed VMware Workstation. This is my version. This is my VMware Workstation which I downloaded from the internet and installed. This is a virtualization software. Purpose of a virtualization software is you can actually install multiple virtual machines inside. Means virtual means false machines, which will actually simulate like a small false node where you can install your operating system. Ravindra, any doubts regarding this virtualization? You know what is the virtualization and this software? Are you aware of this software and all? Ravindra, Dilip, Amarnath, are you? Ravindra, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of
Yes,
this
sir,
VMware workstations? VMware
yes,
workstation,
sir.
you are aware? Okay, then I will go
Yes,
forward because I am supposing everybody knows about this VMware workstation and how to install. So now the next step is after the installation. Okay, Amarnath is saying no. Okay, Amarnath, Ravindra is saying yes, but Amarnath is saying no. Okay, Amarnath, unmute and speak. Amarnath.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you any idea? Do you have any idea about this VMware workstation software?
No, sir.
Okay. See, I will just show you how to download that all things I wanted to just show you. See here. Just in the Google search, you can do like this. VMware Workstation 16 download like this. You just type in the internet. You will go to here, this location. You can see the first thing. I'm just right clicking and placing it here. See here, you are getting. Here it is showing me workstation for Windows and workstation for Linux. Workstation Pro, professional. Pro means professional, 16 is a version. This workstation is what I am using. Just click on this, it downloads. Okay, but this will be an evaluation only. Okay, you can get the key from the internet. You just type it VMware Workstation 16 Pro key like this. Like this, you will get lot of keys. You just install the key and it is done. Amarnath, did you get the answer how to install? After that, download, just press next, it will install. Amarnath, okay. Okay, see, now you got to understand how to download, how to install VMware Workstation software. Now we will see installation in this VMware Workstation software. Go to this file option. Here you have to create a new virtual machine. Means you want to install a new node. Node means operating system where you install hardware node. So first we have to create, before installing the operating system, we need to create a virtual machine node, and that will be created this way. Go to file option. In that it is given as new virtual machine. Click on that. Okay, now the virtual machine wizard, new virtual machine wizard, like you can see here in the starting, it is showing. Select the custom option, press next. Select the custom option and press next. Here the hardware compatibilities are many types. I will be taking the hardware compatibility as Workstation 16X. Okay, it works. Next, press enter. Here the installer disk, you have to select here it is already selected in my system. This is my ISO image from where I am installing my operating system. And one more thing, Amarnath and other people, do you have the CentOS 7 server operating system with you? ISO images. Dilip, Amarnath and Ravindra, use the chat box. Okay, Dilip, you have the operating system with you, ISO image of the operating system with you?
Yeah, I will download today. Actually, I'm having RHEL and Ubuntu and Kali.
Okay.
So
Okay.
also download.
This is CentOS 7. See, what is my CentOS 7 operating system? I'm highlighting here. See, this is my version of CentOS 7. This is an ISO image, which is actually I downloaded from the internet and placed it in my hard disk. From where I'm just browsing it and actually installing it. See, from where I'm browsing it. This is my whole location from where I'm browsing it. This is the CentOS 7 everything. Just click here and just click open. Then it gets selected. Okay. Amarnath, you know how to download. Ravindra is saying no, he doesn't have it. How to download? See here, I'm going to show you all these things. How to download CentOS 7 server operating system. No registration required, no details required. Directly you can download. See here. Amarnath, I'm showing it for you and Ravindra because you wrote. Ravindra is saying he doesn't know, so I'm showing it. CentOS 7. Okay, like this, you just click it. It is going to directly to this thing. See here, CentOS7.org. In that, it is showing download CentOS. Just click on this. Download CentOS. Just click on this. Okay, see here, which version we are working. We want to work on CentOS 7. So click on this 7 which is showing. Okay, after that you have to click on this x86, which is what we are working. Okay, this is x86 means 64-bit CentOS 7 operating system, and the current build number is 2009. What is this name of this thing is 2009. Okay, just click on this x86 64, and to be honest, and this CentOS support for this CentOS 7 will come till this time 30th June 2024. The support will come from CentOS people free of cost. What is the end of the life for this operating system means you can use it even after that also, but support will be given till this date. Okay, just I'm clicking on the ISO x86 64. See, now we are actually into this CentOS 7. What is the operating system version? 7.9 2009. What is my current operating system which I already used? That is not CentOS, that is CentOS 7, though it is even CentOS 7, it is 2003, 7.8 2003. So here you just click on any of the thing, download starts automatically. Any click, just click on this, download will start. Okay, any link you click, download will start. And this download will take a lot of time because it is as good as 10 GB of software. It is around 10 GB of the software. So depending on your internet connection and all, it may take 1 or 2 hours also, or even more. If the internet connection is fast, you can download it in half an hour or 15 minutes also. Okay. Amarnath and Ravindra got to know how to download it, where to download it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Okay, see. Okay, now
before we used to VMware workshop, we must to download CentOS.
Okay, CentOS is the operating system. VMware is a virtualization software. In VMware, you can install any kind of software, not just CentOS, Linux, RHEL, Ubuntu, anything can be installed. Okay, Oracle Linux, Windows, Macintosh, everything can be installed. Solaris also supports. Okay, all you need is VMware workstation software downloaded. After that, original, you don't have key. That is a evaluation version which works for 15 or 30 days. To make it totally full version of the VMware, you have to download the what is that? Download the key, VMware key, Workstation 16 Pro key from the internet. You get it for free. Just during the installation, next when you are doing the VMware installation, it will ask for key. There you paste your key and press OK. Done. After that, we have to actually have the CentOS operating system software to download it. This is the format. Okay. Just press CentOS like this in the Google search. Just give CentOS 7 server download. It goes to the CentOS server org.download location. From there, you are actually installing two versions are already shown here, CentOS 8 and CentOS 7. But we are working on CentOS 7 download. Just click on this option, then click on this x86. It directly redirects to links where you can download the CentOS. Click on this any of the link, it just download, but it is a 10 GB software. It will take time. Okay. Now shall we go with the installation of the CentOS 7 operating system? I think I've cleared your doubt. Okay. Next, see, now the installer, it is asking where is the location. Are you using an installer CD-ROM where you have put the CD of the CentOS, or you are using an installer using ISO image. This is where I put my ISO image, so that I have selected. Next, press next. Here it is asking, I am giving the name of this virtual machine. What is the name of this virtual machine? To uniquely identify 8 p.m. batch. Okay, CentOS 7 64-bit 8 p.m. Because our batch is 8 p.m. I'm just giving the name in the format of 8 p.m. Next, click. Here it is asking number of processors. Just give 1 and 2. You can even select 1 and 1. Don't worry, nothing will happen. No difference will come. Here, just simulating that it is a 1 processor, 2 core, like a dual core processor. That simulation. So total number of cores is equal to 2. Here it is asking for processor selection. How many processors this node supports? Okay, it is simulating like a 2 core or a dual core or i3 system. Okay, this is the amount of memory. Minimum recommended memory is 1 GB. So I am taking the recommended GB as 1 GB. You can even increase or decrease, but don't decrease beyond the OS recommended minimum. This one here, 512 MB, which is shown here. Recommended is better to use, and if it is more than recommended also, it is better. But we have the limitation of RAM, so we are actually going for a recommended. I am using 1024 MB, which is equivalent to 1 GB of RAM for this virtual machine. Okay, this is the network address translation which has been taken. Just select NAT. Here, just select the SCSI controller. LSI logic recommended is selection is better. Okay. So what is this SCSI? What is the hard disk type? Virtual disk type. Hard disk will be such. Here the hard disk will be simulated like it is from SCSI. SCSI. What is the meaning of SCSI? Small computer system interface. This is a server hardware. Server hardware are all iSCSI. Okay. So SCSI, SCSI, it is a type of data hardware, means hard disk type. In our desktop system, we use IDE and SATA. And now currently we are even having NVMe, which is a SSD type. But in the Linux operating system or in any original server operating system, we don't have the SATA IDE. We will have a hardware in the format of SCSI. Okay. Here we are actually simulating this virtual machine as SCSI. Okay. So create a new virtual machine, virtual disk. Okay, select that option by default. Here it is asking what is the size of that hard disk size. Because I am using 120, I am just giving it as 120 GB. But if you are giving the size here, you should be aware that this size will be taken from your hard disk, laptop or desktop, wherever you are installing. This space will be taken for this virtual machine as maximum 120. Okay, doesn't mean if you always give 120, you can even give from 40 GB, minimum of 40 GB to anything. So for your users, I'm giving you something around 70. Okay, this is 70 GB. Okay, this is how it is. Store the single machine, next press. This is the file, this is the setup file which is going to be created. VMDK is the virtual machine file. Disk file and finish. Just press finish. Now these are the settings which I have made. All these things will be set up to this virtual machine. Press in finish. Now a window opens. See here, like it is here, where all the devices which are connected to this virtual machine, which is CentOS 7 64-bit 8 p.m. name of the virtual machine, and this is the different details. This is the CD-ROM. This is the RAM which I allocated. This is the processor. This is the hard disk space. This is the networking adapter, which is a NAT, network address translation. This will come later. Don't worry. When the networking topics come, I will let you know what is the meaning of this NAT and bridge network. Everything will be later. But for time being, just remember this is a NAT, network address translation. I think most of the people know also what is the meaning of NAT. So now we have created a virtual machine. Now we have to install our operating system in this node, in this virtual machine. Just press power on this virtual machine like this. So now it is asking install CentOS 7, test this media and install. Shall I go with the installation? Okay. See here. Now this installation which I am going to do is a GUI based installation. Suppose you wanted to do no GUI based installation, you just press escape. Then you can do CUI based installation, means character user installation, not in a GUI mode. Now I am proceeding with the GUI based installation. And next thing, 1 minute, there is some doubt raised. Nothing is there. Okay. So now with the GUI based installation, just click, select these options like this, troubleshoot this thing. Just highlight this install CentOS 7 and press enter. Now we are actually going into GUI based installation. See, the installation is now starting. This is the first screen where it is actually asking for language to install, installation language which you like to install. English, India, I am taking. Next, I'm going to say continue. Okay. Now the second window has appeared, GUI window has appeared, which is saying what are the different settings you want to give for this operating system installation. Is everybody able to see now? Okay. It will take some time. Just be patient.
Sir, from today onwards, they'll send the videos or not? I mean,
Means if you have pay, who is speaking? Okay, Dilip, you are actually, if you pay the fees and all, na, and just tell them, sir,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
paid the fee, they will tell, just to pay the fees and tell them, sir, this is my mail ID, please forward it to, they will be forwarding. I don't have any access to the
yeah.
videos, okay? I have to, okay? Just ask the institute guys that you have paid the fees, I need that video, they'll just forward it to your mail ID, okay?
Okay, sir, thanks.
Okay, Dilip. See, now the installation, next step of installation we see. Select this date and time. Here it is showing here 15th April. This is the 14th April, so I am changing 14th April. What is the date and time now? Current time is 2025. Okay, this is a 24 time format. So 24 hours format. I am just going to 20. Okay, 2026 it is in my system. That time I am setting. Okay, this is what I am setting. This is Asia Calcutta taken. Just press OK. Okay, then done. Okay, after that keyboard, no need to touch all those things. Language support. Installation source is from CD-ROM. So this is a CD-ROM SR0. So no need to touch because this we are doing it. Sir. Software installation, this is the most important thing. Here it is showing me server with the GUI. We have to select that. Why we are going for this server with GUI? You can actually even go for minimal installation like this. Complete node installation, which will install all the packages and all the things. Complete node. Okay, infrastructure server. These are the different options given, which is the base environment on which you can install later also other applications. Okay, virtualization host. But what we have to be taking is, if you are, and one more important thing, I already told you during the installation, during the first or second demo session, that Linux can be installed as a server same operating system CD or the ISO image can help you installing in a server operating system mode or even as a GUI based client mode. If you want to install this application or this node which are doing as a client based operating system, select these GNOME desktops or KDE desktop. Okay, if you want to install as a client, you can do this GNOME desktop or otherwise minimum install. This is also a GNOME or KDE. This is the type of desktop environment. What is GNOME and KDE? KDE stands for this one, which option which I'm selecting. This is for K desktop environment. This is a graphical environment. Okay, like for which is required for the client operating systems to work. Okay, like a client operating system, you want to install this system as a client operating system, you can take this GNOME or KDE. Okay, GNOME stands for GNU Network Object Model Environment. Okay, this is the GNOME desktop and this is the KDE workspaces. These two are for client-based installation. You want to configure this server not as a server but a client operating system for internet access and normal access. Then you have to tell it. But because we are doing this for administration purpose, so we have to select this option, server with GUI. And whenever you server with GUI, it is asking for add-ons. See here, I am selecting add-ons for the selected. Whatever this server with GUI comes, apart from that, DNS server, email server, FTP server, these things, please select. Select all those things. Okay, after selection of all the applications, just select done. Now it is actually what it is doing. See, this is actually disabled. Software selection is disabled mode. Since whatever the software packages we have selected, it is checking all these are available in the CD, which is the installation source. It is checking the dependencies here. All the software selections we have done needs from the CD. So it is checking in the ISO image, all the softwares are there. It will take 1 or 2 minutes and later it will show us if it is success or failure. Okay, now we are going to see partitioning. See, now how to do partitioning. Without partition, you cannot install the operating system because hard disk is just plain thing. We need to partition and format it, then install operating system. So it is taking some time, just wait.
Sir, actually, I'm using RHEL and Linux on the same drive. I mean, I have assigned a drive to the VM. So you're saying that, I mean, if we do partition, so if we format
what is that you're saying? See, first thing, wait. What you said, you're saying RHEL and
Kali
Linux for same. Okay, what do you mean that same drive? What is that you're saying?
Yeah, I have installed both
if you
in
want
one
to
drive.
install, see, so one drive you can't install, man. Hard disk will be one base hard disk. This is all not taking from here. This is my hard disk. See, this is my hard disk from where it is coming. So I am placing my in physical hard disk. This is only one hard disk with me, C drive and D drive. But whenever you are installing the operating system, you are creating a node like this. These are the different nodes which are created. This one we are working, which is highlighted here. Okay, and each node, because each node which I have created here, setting C here, this is where you are installing your operating system. Okay, here, this is the hard disk where you are installing. And for each operating system, suppose you are installing Red Hat Enterprise Linux, create a node like this. Okay, if you are installing Ubuntu operating system, create a node like this one, like this. Create a node, in that you install operating system. You got it? Dilip, you got it, ma'am?
Okay, okay.
You are not though physically on the hard disk where this is where the Windows is installed, there you are installing physically one hard disk only. But virtually in VMware, we are installing in these settings. These are the settings which get created till now. Remember? There,
Yeah.
this is the hard disk. Where this hard disk is located, C:virtual machine, this is the location of the hard disk, which is in the form of VMDK. Virtual means disk. Okay, the size of the hard disk, everything is given here. Maximum size we have selected is 70 GB. Here you can see. Okay, you got the answer or anything, any other confusion? Dilip.
No, sir, I got the answer.
So if you want to install RHEL, you create a node like this. If you want to install another CentOS, create another node like this, 8 PM instead of 8 PM, other node, there you install your operating system. And for each operating system, what are the hardware resources you allocated is these things. Right click, settings, you get it. See, these are the things. Hard disk, processor, RAM, all these things. Suppose you think that in this system, you wanted to simulate second hard disk. So this is the first hard disk. Just select the hard disk location here and press add here. So you can add extra hard disk, next, then it will ask the same thing. So then the second hard disk kind of thing be added. Okay. Dilip, you got the answer, man?
Yeah, I got the answer.
Okay. See, now we have actually selected server with GUI. Now we will see partitioning. System partitioning, we will see. What is the space of the hard disk? Remember, to the VM we gave 70 GB. This is the thing. Remember, while the settings we created, 70 GB was given to this VM. This is the thing. Okay, you have to select, I will configure partitioning. Here, this option should be selected and press done. Now we are actually doing the partitioning. But here it is showing LVM. We are going to do only standard partitioning. Select standard partitioning and press select first standard partitioning and press plus button. Here it will ask what you want to install. First you have to install always boot. Better you install always boot. What is the size of the boot? 300 MB. Add bound point. I'll let you know just 5 minutes after the installation is going on. I'll let you know what is this boot, root and swap and all that thing, which is part of Linux file system hierarchy. Just for timing, remember we have to install boot. Second option, here it is. We can take swap. Swap is a virtual memory. Okay, virtual memory in Linux is called swap. That is equivalent to virtual memory in Windows. You remember what is the virtual memory in Windows? Anyone knows? This is equivalent to twice the size of RAM. What is the RAM we give? 1024 MB. Now we am selecting twice the RAM. 2000 MB, which is 2 GB equivalent. Add mount point. So next thing will be root. Because we are doing core installation, I'll let you know all these things. For timing, just remember this. For this, minimum of 40 GB required. Okay. Because we are doing basic installation, we need 40 GB. Because operating system will come later, we have to copy the CD and extra things. So 40 GB. So this is the partitioning method. How to create partitions in thing. Okay. After this, press done. Because we have already created the partition. Remaining, we are having 30 GB available here. See here. In the downside, it is total 70 GB. After that, we give 40 plus GB, 42 GB. Remaining 29.69 GB is available here. So that can be partitioned and used later also. Okay. For time being, we require only this much. So we have give 42 GB of replace. Remaining 30 GB, 28.69 GB is available, which can be partitioned or used later. Press done. Okay, accept changes. Now partitioning is also done, and here see next will come to network and host name. Okay, this I'm not changing this content. If you want to give the host name to this computer, what is the meaning of host name? Unique name given to this computer. See, my name, though I am a physical body, my name is Rajesh. Same way Dilip. Physical body is the operating system and the name is just like a tag to it, tag. Similarly, this operating system after installation also we have to give host name. What is the meaning of host name? Just a tag to the operating system, just to uniquely identify it. That name is here by default given localhost dot local domain. Here, if you edit it and give any other name, that will become the host name. But if I give it here, if I change the host name and type any other thing, then problem is that you will not know where this data is all set up after the operating system installation. So network and host name which are done here, I'll show you after the installation of operating system how to set up these things manually. Host name and network, how to install, how to set up these host name and network data or settings after the installation of the operating system done. I'll show you manually. If you set here, it becomes automatic. Okay, you will not know what is happening in the background. I'll show you manually. So I am actually taking the default settings only, no changes. Okay, in your system, if you want to set, you can set here. Just give the host name, any name you want to give name. Apart from that, just enable this next network on. Just 2 points, network on and host name here. Delete this whole domain, localhost.local domain and type. So I am actually giving the default setting so that I can show you after the installation operating system how to manually set the host name and network details, etc. Okay, I am pressing done. Okay, now the installation is been selected, partitioning is done, software package selection is done. Now just start with the begins installation. And it is also asking me, see here, now it is also asking me set the root password. Why it is called root password? Because admin here in Linux is called root by default. What is the password? Any password. I am given here Rajesh. Any password your wish. And it is also asking user creation. Minimum a single user apart from the admin user. That user also I am giving it as Rajesh G. Okay, and the password for that also is Rajesh. And click done. Okay, now the installation is going to start here. You can see in the down it is actually scrolling, starting package installation process. It will take an hour. It will take 1 hour for the installation to finish, more than an hour maybe. Because my system is a i3 system, it will not take so much load. It will be slow only. Apart from that, recording is also going on in the background, so the system slow. Otherwise, it only takes without the recording and all. It only takes 15 minutes or 20 minutes to install operating system in my system. Let the package installation start, then I will show you the remaining part of Linux. Is everybody getting what I'm saying? Any doubts? Amarnath, Dilip, Ravindra?
No, sir.
Okay, Dalip.
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, now the installation will start. It will show you here. Then after the installation is running in the background, we will see other topics of the Linux administration. We will see file system hierarchy and all.
Sir, actually, I'm having a question. Maybe it is out of this thing.
Ask Dilip. No problem, Dilip. You can ask. Okay. Tell me.
Like in my virtual machine, it is showing that DV
Hmm.
slash SDA. So
Huh.
what is the like?
That is
I'm
what in your virtual machine means during installation of the operating system or after the installation of operating system.
like after
After
installing only. Like I think while
yes,
installing
yes.
also it is showing like the thing, but I don't see here. It is showing only SDA.
I will tell.
So
I'll
there
tell
I
you.
I
I will
don't.
tell you. This will come after the installation. I will tell you. See, because I can't open another virtual machine because this operating system will take a lot of load. I can't open another virtual machine and show you. So what is this
Okay.
/db SDA? I'll tell you. See here. Let the installation start. I'll show you. Just the installation start. I'll tell you all these things. Okay. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Because without this, see now it is showing preparing transaction for the installation source and all that. Let it start. I'll show you. Now see, it is installation started. Packages are selected. How many packages to be selected? See, 2060 packages we have selected. Since we have selected server is GUI and other options, it is asking during installation. Now you are going to install 2060 packages. Okay, these many packages should be
Yeah.
installed for the server with the GUI option to work. All the packages for server with GUI to work. It will take at least 1 hour and more. Now we will see. Let this installation continue. It will take another 1 hour. Later it will ask for reboot. Till then we will discuss other topics of Linux. Okay? Is it everybody okay? Dilip and all. Let the operating system installation go on in the background. This will be going on.
Okay.
After all the packages are installed, it will show us reboot the system. Then the operating system is installed. Okay. Till that time, let us do other topics. See, now we are seeing working FFT. Yesterday we saw effective on command line overview of Linux. Today we are seeing installation of operating system. From tomorrow we will see creating of file directories and all these things. Okay. Now Dilip is asking. Dilip is asking what Dilip is asking. See here, Dilip. So now Dilip is asking some question. What is the meaning of /DEV, SDA, SDB, these things? Is that the same thing, Dilip?
Yeah.
See, Dilip, for you, this is the answer. In Linux, HDD, what is the HDD? Means hard disk. Okay. There are many types of hard disk you can add to a Linux hard disk. Okay. Linux in operating system, you can add hard disk, right? Okay. Linux hard disk, if this is the first hard disk, think this is the first hard disk. Okay, what is this? What is the thing? This is the first hard disk. Think HDD1. HDD means hard disk 1, suppose. The name of the hard disk, and also there is one more thing. Type of the hard disk also. Type. Okay, type. If it is IDE, that is the one type of hard disk. IDE means independent drive execute, something will be there. That is. Next will be a SATA hard disk. Okay, this type of hard disk are also there. Suppose during installation you are supposed to give a SATA hard disk, then the name of the first hard disk, if it is SATA, see this one for the SATA, the name of the hard disk will be like this /DVSDS. Okay. If you are selected while the installation of operating system, the type of hard disk is IDE. Suppose this is the IDE type of hard disk is IDE. You know na? In desktop environment also you have IDE hard disk, SATA hard disk, and now SSD hard disk. Okay, remember SSD is also hard disk, solid state device.
Yeah.
Now currently, so what are the
Yeah.
different types of hard disks? See here, I'm just rubbing it off. 1 minute. See here. What are the different types of hard disk available for anything like this? First,
HDD.
next thing, comma. Now SSD, solid state device. This is called SSD. Okay. If we by installation, if you are using IDE hard disk, name in the Linux operating system for the IDE hard disk will be shown as like this /DV HDA. H will come. So starting device is where this is the location where the hard disk is located. Device. Yesterday I told you. Remember what are the
Yeah,
device
device
nodes available? There devices will be located in device directory /devsda. If the ID type of hard disk you have selected for the Linux installation as IDE option, then the hard disk name will come as HDA. H means IDE hard disk. And what is this A? A means first hard disk. If you are having the same IDE hard disk, second hard disk. If the hard disk is one, HA will come. If you are having hard disk 2 like this, if you are having the same IDE hard disk as 2, if you are having the same IDE hard disk HDD2, what is the hard disk? HDD2, second hard disk. Of type what? If it is IDE, what is the type? If it is IDE, then the type of hard disk will be shown in Linux as /dev, location where the hard disk nodes are there. Yeah, HDB. B means second hard disk, H means IDE type. Okay. Similarly, if you are selected during installation, you are saying that hard disk is SATA type. SATA means serial ATA. If you use the first hard disk, the name of the hard disk will be in the format of S. See here, name of the hard disk in the format started with A, started with S. Later A means first hard disk. Suppose same SATA hard disk you are having second type. If you are having the same hard disk, instead of IDE, instead of the same second hard disk, you are having SATA type. SATA. This is a type of hardware architecture for hard disk. SATA, IDE, SSD. If it is the name will be /dev SDB. S supports means SATA type hard disk. B support means second hard disk. You can have a number of hard disk in a operating for a desktop, laptop, or a server. Okay, first hard disk is called A. Second hard disk will be named B. But if you are actually having the type of hard disk as IDE, first hard disk from IDE will be HDA. H means SATA, IDE. A means the first hard disk. If the same thing IDE hard disk second you have added, see here the same thing will be HDB. Third hard disk if you add, that will be /dev HDC. Dilip, got it? Dilip, got it? Got the
Yes,
answer?
sir.
And
Got it.
if you are
Got
having,
it.
if you are selecting IDE hard disk, first hard disk will be, name will be starting with S, ID will start with H, and A meaning first hard disk. If the same name comes as HDB, means IDE type hard disk, second hard disk. If it comes like HDC, means device location. H means IDE type, C means third hard disk. Same way, SATA hard disk you are using, same thing will come, but starting name will be S. S means SATA type. A means first hard disk. HDB, SATA type, second hard disk. B means second hard, like this. How many hard disks you can add for IDE? That also I'm showing here. Remember, see here. If you are having SATA hard disk, IDE hard disk, there are only four hard disks can be added to the system. If it is SATA, we can add more than that. More than how many ports are there? Depending how many ports, SATA ports are there, that many hard disks you add. IDE type for a desktop can have only 4 hard disks. IDE 1, IDE 2, IDE 3, IDE 4. Okay, remember if you open any old desktop, 10 years or 15 years old back, that time only IDE hard disk is to come. And IDE, if you want to connect 2 hard disks, you can connect to single 2 controllers used to be there. IDE first controller, IDE second controller. For each controller in that desktop, you can add using a cable, IDE cable, you can add 2 hard disks for each controller. IDE, IDE2, totally 4. But SATA has come last 10, 15, 12 years. SATA has become the standard instead of IDE. SATA is better. SATA controller will come. For SATA, in order to install in your desktop, you can have 4 or 5 depending on how many ports, SATA ports are there. That many hard disks and CD-ROMs can be attached to your system. Okay. Okay. I think you got the answer, man. Dilip, any doubts, man? Any clarity you want? Am I clear?
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Now you got to understand. But in server, there is no SATA hard disk. Servers will not support this hardware. Servers support SCSI. SCSI stands for, here I am writing C because you have asked. Server, hardware supports what type of thing? SCSI, which means what is? Small computer system interface. This is the type of hardware architecture for memory devices, hard disk type, small computer system interface. iSCSI will be coming, that will be. And what is the difference between this small computer system interface? This is a different type of architecture developed for server hardware. Okay, this IDE SATA is for desktop and laptops only, desktops only. Server hardware is different, so it supports small computer system interface. And what is the difference is this SCSI hardware, iSCSI, okay, dynamic SCSI will be there. These are hot swappable. Hot swappable means what? During running of operating system, you can remove the hardware directly without switching off the server. You can just pick up the hardware, attach a new hardware. Hard disk can be during runtime, system is up and running, then you can pull up the hard disk and keep a new hard disk. Hot swappable, this is called hot swappable. Like USB you can run and actually remove without any setting problem. Just attach your USB pen drive, pull it up in the end, nothing happens. Same way, hot swappable, that is called. This hard disk of the SCSI type can also do the same thing. They don't burn off. If you pull up the ID hard disk while running, it just burns. Okay, Dilip.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, now see what is the installation has come. 651 packages is done. It will take another half an hour, 45 minutes. Let it continue. So now you got to understand what is this Linux hard disk, what is SDA, HDA meaning, SASCSI. Okay, shall we go for the next? Shall we go for the next thing, man?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will see Linux file system hierarchy. Windows file system hierarchy, how it was. I showed you yesterday. How is the Linux Windows file system hierarchy? Just a preview I'm showing. This is how the Windows file system. In C drive, we have Windows folder, document setting folder, program files, all the things. In documents and settings, user files are created, admin files and user files are created. All the data is by default created under C partition and in different folder. Problem is that if the C corrupts, apart from the OS data, user data like these users and groups, everything get corrupt, right? So this is not so good type of architecture installation for server operating system. So Linux actually support these kind of hierarchy. This is how the Linux operating system directories are placed under things. This is a inverted tree. See here, root, this is called slash, it is showing. Okay. Okay, this is C. This is called slash. By default, it is though written as slash. This is the starting point of Linux file system. From where every node will come. This is called, though it is actually written as slash, but it is called as root. But it is called as root. Okay, this is called, though it is written as slash, it will be called as root. Okay. Other directories are placed directly under this. These are the other directories like root, boot, bin or otherwise placed under root. Okay. Now we will see what is the purpose of each and this directory. Okay. Now we will see the purpose of each and this directory. I will open my LibreOffice. Just give me a minute. It is slow. Just give me a minute. Okay, I have opened my office. Now we will actually set Okay. Now we will see Linux file system hierarchy details. Because the operating system is getting installed here in the background, it will take another half an hour time. By that time, we will finish up this hierarchy detail. What is hierarchy? How the different files and folders are arranged in Linux. In C, we have seen in Windows, this is how the arrangement is. In Windows, this is like arrangement. Under C drive, Windows, document, program files and all this. But Linux is a little different, and how it is different and why it is so important hierarchy, that we are going to see. See here, first thing, what are the different types of files in Linux? We'll see. What are the different types of files? Okay, types of files. Yesterday also I showed you this, but I'm repeating again for you. Brush up thing. Okay, different types of files. Okay, this is the thing. First type of file is called regular or ordinary file. Second type of file is directory file type or folder. This can also be called as a folder in Windows. Okay, this is also a folder. Regular file means any file, any text file. In Windows equivalent is any text file or ASCII file. You can also say it as or and ASCII file. ASCII. Okay, see here, any text file or regular file is like this. Okay, directory file is like a folder. You know everything, these things. Third thing will be special files. SPECIAL, special files. Man, Dilip, I'm asking, can you name any special file? Dilip, I'm asking. Just unmute and speak.
Sir?
Dilip, I'm asking. I told you what is a regular file, ordinary file. You got it?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Linux, files are three types of files are there. Regular file or ordinary file. Any file which is actually just a thing is a regular file or ordinary file. That is a text file kind of thing. Directory file, you know what is a directory? It's a folder in Windows, right? Folder, you say.
Folder.
Okay, then what is the special file, man? There is anything special file kind of thing in Windows? I'm asking, anything like special file kind of thing is available in Windows? No, na?
No.
Okay, see here, there is a file. Yes, Windows will be in Windows. There is a one type of no file, directory and regular files are there, but no special files are there. But there are devices. Okay, in Windows, devices will be there now. Hard disk is a device. In Windows also there, hard disk is a device, CD-ROM is a device. But in Linux, all the devices or hardware level files are all treated as special files. Okay, getting what is the meaning of a device file? What is a special file?
Yeah.
Okay.
All CD-ROM, hard disk.
CD-ROM, hard disk, pen drives. These are also which are treated as devices. All the devices like CD-ROM, hard disks, your speaker, printer. These are called as device-related devices in Windows. These devices are in Linux as treated as a special kind of file. These are treated as files only, but called as special file. Getting? Dilip, getting? In Windows, devices are treated separately. They are not treated as file. But Linux support these files are also as special kind of files, which are called device files. Small example of a device file, you tell me, man. I just gave you an answer previously. What are the devices? Hard disk is a device. What is the name of a SATA hard disk connected to Linux? /db SDA. Okay, this is a special file. Getting? Dilip?
Yes, I got it.
Nah, device files. Okay, see here. What are the examples of these files? We will see here. Now see. Device related files. These are the files. Example of device files. I'm just writing here. Example of a device file. HDD. If it is SATA /dev. What is this? /dev. SDA. SDA. What is this? SATA hard disk. Right? Okay, this is one kind of thing. Second example, CD-ROM. CD-ROM /db. It can be like this. /db. What is the /db? After that, CD-ROM. This is the device file. Okay, pen drive. What is a pen drive? Can be also given like this. Some /device in that pen drive. Some SDB, some SDA. SDB, some SDC can be like this. All the devices are also treated as files. If you want to do any read-write operation on the device, even a printer, you have to edit the specific file for the device, then the read-write operation automatically goes there. Okay, Dilip, got it? Amarnath, you getting? Okay.
Yes, sir, got it.
Special files are device related files, not just device related files. All the files apart from regular files and directory files are special files, and special files are again classified as device related device files. If it is a hard disk, it is also treated as a file in the name of /db SDA. CD-ROM is /db CD-ROM. Pen drive /db SDC. Printer is also a device. If you want to do any read-write operation on that device because you want the device to work, you actually edit the specific file, or you do the specific file, then the automation process of writing to that device and the device to work will work. Getting? Okay. Now we got to understand what are the types of files. Okay. Now what is the hierarchy? How these files are arranged depending on their requirement is hierarchy. What is hierarchy? File system hierarchy. Getting? What is the hierarchy? Arrangement of these files. First thing, regular files. Regular means all the regular file, regular plus special files. Files are stored into directories, and all these that stored into directories depending on their use. What is each file use or each special file use? Depending on that, they are stored in different directories, stored into all special different directories depending on the use of the file, special file or regular file. Then all these directories are placed in a hierarchical format under starting from things from slash means here root. I'm just highlighting this. Slash is very important. From where slash is called root, which is also called as, though written as slash, pronounced as root. Okay, got it? Dilip, you are getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
What is hierarchy? Arrangement. First, the regular and special files, depending on their requirement, are placed into different directories. What are the different directories? Here you see. This is the thing. This is depending on their requirement, they are placed like this. And each of these directory is totally arranged under root, which is here, as you can see. starting C here, this is root. Under this, these directories are arranged. Each of the directories has some specific reason. If it is root, boot, as everything has specific reason. Okay, each of these directories has a specific reason. Okay, that we are going to see now. Okay, now we are going to see, we have known what are the type of files. Okay, now we are seeing what is the meaning of hierarchy. Arrangement of different regular and special files into directories depending on the requirement of those files. Then these directories are placed in a hierarchical format starting from slash or root. Okay, now we will see what is the purpose of each and every, what is the purpose of each and every part, these things. Okay, what is the different file system? These are the see use and purpose of Linux file system hierarchy. These are the different things we are going to see. Now I am just copying paste instead of typing it. See here. I am pasting it here. The use and purpose of Linux file system hierarchy. Linux uses a single rooted means single root from where all the directories are generating like this here. See, single root from where all the things are coming, and each has a separate purpose. Each of the folder under this like boot, root, everything has a different purpose. That purpose we are going to see it now. See, first we will start with what is the purpose of /boot. See, what is the purpose of /boot? What does it contain? Different file system or file. See here, I'm just pasting these things. Okay, /boot contains bootable files. Okay, they contain different bootable files. What is this? init.rd, init ramfs. init.rd stands for initial RAM disk. Don't get confused. What is this data? init.rd, init ramfs. This is coming some Lido. Just for time being, remember these things. What is the purpose of this boot folder? What does it contain? Later, when you are doing the administration, course, later topics, system and network administration topic, later we will get to understand what is the purpose of each and this folder and where the files located. For just time being, just remember boot directory. We have created a boot directory. See, now the operating system is still running. It will take another 15-20 minutes. See, it contains bootable files. Okay, what are the bootable files? Different bootloader. Bootloader is two types of bootloaders are available in Linux. Current concept bootloader is GRUB, which stands for Grand Unified Bootloader. What is this bootloader? Whenever you are booting your operating system, whenever you are switching on your laptop or desktop or server, operating system should be loaded. This is the package. GRUB is the software which will actually load the operating system into memory and make it live. Okay, these files are located in the /boot directory. You can see there are different types of kernels also located in the boot directory. Okay, different types of kernels. VM Linux. Yesterday I showed you two types of kernels. One is a normal kernel, VM Linux. Second type of kernel is rescue kernel, which is called VM Linux Rescue. This is a rescue kernel. So this is equivalent to Windows directory boot files. Wherever the boot files in Windows are there, same equivalent boot directory contains all the bootable files like bootloader and kernels. Any doubt? Dilip, you are getting what is the purpose of the boot directory? Amarnath,
Yes,
you are getting what? Okay, Amarnath, you are getting, man. I think you are new to this all these things. Amarnath, you are getting. Amarnath. Speaker. Okay, Amarnath saying yes. Okay, no problem. So now this is the purpose of boot directory. Now we will go to the second directory available. So this is the root directory. Okay, this is the root directory. See here. Next condition we are going to /root. Paste it. I placed it. This is the data. Okay, this is called though it is written as /, this is the node from which all the directories are rooted, which is called as also root directory. It is called as root, not a root directory. It is called as root. Okay, this is the topmost directory. See here, this is the topmost directory. See here, I'm highlighting. Okay, this is the topmost directory from where all the directories are routing. This is equivalent to C drive in Windows. C drive is equivalent to slash here. In Windows equivalent, it is C drive. This is here is called slash. Topmost directory from where all the other directories are placed under. Now we got to see the second condition. We will see now the slash root directory. See, now we will see the next thing. Paste karna slash root. So this is the thing. This is what we are seeing here. Slash root, which I am showing it here. Slash root, where my mouse is here. So that what is the purpose? It is the default home directory. Okay, default home directory for root or admin, where all the whenever the root user or admin logins, he will be logged in into slash root directory. Okay, it is the login admin. Linux admin is called root here, and it is equivalent to C document and settings administrator directory in Windows. Okay, it is where the admin, when he is connecting to the system, wherever he is logged in, that location is called root. So now we finish with the third one. Okay, now we will see the fourth one. What is the purpose of home directory? Paste kar raha hu. What is the purpose of home directory? Home directory contains all the home directories of normal users. Admin being a root user, root is the admin. He will be logging whenever he is logging into the server. He will be logging into slash root location. But normal user like Rajesh, Dilip, or any other person like Amarnath or Ravindra, if they have created their own common own normal user accounts, they will be logging into slash home slash username account. Okay, where the login, they will log in into slash home directory. This is the location where all the normal user directories are present. Normal user data and directories are actually present in slash home directory. Next we will go to next command, sbin. Yesterday bin directory first I will show you. Okay, this is the location. Paste kar raha hu. What is the purpose of bin directory? Bin stands for binary. Okay, binary means all the commands. Okay, it contains essential commands which are used by all users. Cat command, ping, these are the ping different utilities which are actually placed in bin directory. Okay, these are the different essential commands which are used by all the users, whether it is a normal user or admin user like root. Both users can use this command. These commands are placed in the bin directory. Purpose of the bin directory is done. Next we will see what is the purpose of sbin directory. Very important, these things, the directories and purposes are very important. Okay, because okay, now see what is the purpose of sbin directory. Sbin stands for super or system binary or super binary. Okay, it contains all the essential commands, system command, which can be used only by a super user. Means admin only usable commands. Only admin can access these commands like fdisk, dump, etc., which I have given here. These are few of the examples of super binary commands. This can be only executed by a root or admin. These commands are placed in sbin directory slash sbin under the root sbin. See here, this is the sbin directory here. Here I am actually highlighting. See here, this is the sbin directory. Okay, now we have seen the sbin directory usage. Don't worry if you don't understand this content also, no problem, but in the process of your doing your administration course, you will learn all the purpose of this directories later. For time being, just remember this is the hierarchy and this is the purpose of each and every directory placed under slash. Okay, next we are going with the USR directory. What is this USR directory? We are going to see here. Paste. This is the data for the USR directory. USR stands for Unix System Resources. It contains Unix System Resource Directory contains programs and applications available for all users. Okay, it is equivalent to program files in Windows. C:\program files directory is equivalent to USR. USR stands for Unix System Resource. Suppose you have Firefox installed in your system. Firefox installed in your system. The Firefox is a third-party application which doesn't come directly with the operating system in Windows. So you install the Firefox. Where the files of the Firefox are installed, where the files of a Mozilla Chrome or other things installed, they will be installed in program files directory of the C directory program files folder. Similarly, it is equivalent to USR. It contains user level application and programs. Okay. Now we will see the next thing after USR. We will see what is the purpose of var directory. Very important. What is the purpose of var? See here. The var, I'm highlighting. Var stands for variable. That is, they change. It contains all log information. All the log files are written to var directory. Log file. Any user is connecting to the system, disconnecting the system. You are executing any command, everything. All the log files will be created in this var directory. All the logs will be created in this var directory. Apart from that, we are also having print queues. Means printer information or files to be placed in the var directory. Apart from that, it contains default location for mails. Every user in a server operating system may get mail. These default mail locations will also be placed under var directory. Okay, var directory contains logs, print queues, mails, and other things. So variable data. Now it is coming device directories. This is the important thing. What is a device? See here, Dilip, for you only I'm saying, device. This is the directory where all the devices are located. Log device, character device are all located here. Okay, it contains all the information about the hardware devices. Okay, like hard disk, CD-ROM, pen drive, any other device, meta disk, RAID disk, everything will be contained in this device folder /dev. Really very important. This directory contains device nodes through which the operating system can access hardware devices on the system. Okay, examples I already gave you /dev HDA. What is the meaning of a HDA? H stands for ID hard disk type. A stands for the first hard disk. Okay, CD-ROM. Okay, this is equivalent to device manager in Windows. Okay, now you got to understand what is the purpose of device folder, device directory. What is the purpose? Next we will see. Okay, next we will see these things. EPC directory. What is the purpose of this EPC directory? We will see. Copy paste karo. Paste. Okay, EPC stands for extra. EPC stands for etc. All the configuration files, different application configuration file, whether it is DHCP, whether it is DNS, whether it is file path, user and group password file, all these files are placed in EPC. All the configuration files are by default placed in EPC directory, all the configuration files. Okay, now we got to understand, we got OPT, next we will see proc. Okay, see here, now we will play this thing. What is the OPT? OPT stands for optional. It contains third-party software installation location. If you are installing MS Office in Windows, it goes to program file. But here, if you are installing third-party software, big software, etc., like antivirus, OpenOffice, these softwares are by default placed in OPT, which is the optional directory. Okay, they are placed, third-party application software are installed in OPT directory. So now coming into temp directory and proc. These two, if you see, you will have some idea. I am actually placing all those things here. Temp directory, temporary. These files contain temporary files which are required for the operating system. Temporary files created for the use of the operating system, for working of the operating system. These files are placed in the TMP directory. Temp. Okay. Temporary directory contains temporary files. So which is actually required for some temporary purpose. These files are provided under temp. The most important thing is proc. What is the meaning of proc? Is a process file. It contains process files. Okay, proc stands for process. It contains process files. I told you yesterday, whenever a kernel, a shell submits a command to the kernel creates a process for it. You know, I remember I told you, whenever a kernel submits some process to the system, okay, shell submits some process to command to the kernel that command to be executed, first kernel creates a process for that execution. Okay, yesterday I showed you find command, how it is get executed. That time the process information of that process like find or any other thing will be located in the proc directory. Okay, all the process informations which are created or executed by the kernel will be created in the proc directory. It contains files useful for information by the OS. It contains virtual information for hardware and other currently running information. This proc meminfo is one of the small example which contains all the SRAM and swap information. Second command, the second small example is in proc CPU info file is there, which contains all the information about the current CPU, what is the system CPU and what are the different properties of that. These all files are located in these all files, process information, currently running information, hardware information are all saved into /proc directory. Okay, now you got to understand all the different things. Okay, we will also see what is the purpose of media. There is also one more command, mnt, I forgot to give, /mnt. It is used as default mount point for any devices. Okay, MNT. What is this mount point or what is this device? You'll let to know later. For timing, just remember. Okay, these are the different file system and the purpose of each of these have been explained clearly. Okay. Any doubts from your side, man? Amarnath, Dilip, Ravindra, any doubts from your side, man? See, the operating system installation is going on. It will take another 10 minutes to 15 minutes to finish. Okay. Amarnath is saying no. What about Dilip? How about you? No. Okay. Ravindra is saying no.
Yeah,
Dilip,
nothing, sir.
you got to understand file system hierarchy.
Sir?
File system hierarchy, समझ में
Yeah,
आया?
yeah, understood, sir. But you know,
Okay.
I'm confusing between
हाँ.
like
Slash and
you said 2 directories for third parties.
हाँ, OPT.
What?
OPT. This one you are
Yeah,
asking. Is this,
OPT and yeah, OPT and
OPT means it can be
OPT
spelled.
and another one is sir.
What another one?
OPT and I have seen another file directory, sir.
Another
so
directory is also same. You will get to understand the difference between these things when you do the administration code. Okay. For timing, just remember. Okay, remember for timing, just remember I said OPT for third party application. That is what you are asking, na? And other also I said the third party application, right? That is what you are asking.
Yeah.
Okay, OPT means suppose you are see instead of placing all the third party applications, suppose you are installing any of the application. If you install the application by default, that application install USR also can have this application. But sometimes you wanted to place this application away from the USR directory, then is the OPT is used as that. OPT directory will use. Suppose you are installing LibreOffice or OpenOffice, you are installing antivirus, but you don't want to keep this all these things in specific directory. So you want this third party software to be placed separately. Then you can use this OPT.
Okay, sir.
Okay, that is how it is. So if you don't understand what are the things which I have explained here, because you will not understand, I know, because this is the first time. If already you have idea about this, then it is okay. But most of the time you will not understand what is this process, what is this permanent, what is this running process info. You are not getting. I think Amarnath is not getting that. So reason being Amarnath will not get it. This is a new thing. This is very much different from Windows operating system. So you will not get this thing. But as in the process of doing this administration course, when you are referring for different application purposes, you are executing your thing, then you will get to understand, oh, this is the purpose, so it is placed in this directory. This is the requirement of this directory. Here in this directory, if you go inside this, we'll get the particular information. Suppose you wanted to have run a command. See here. See, now the installation is still running in the background. So depending on that, then you will build up, oh, this is the purpose of this directory. Here these files are there. If you want to read the information of specific thing, you have to go to device directory, because I told you device directory is the where all the device nodes are connected. Device file, HDA, CD-ROM, pen drive, printer, everything is actually a device file. That are all placed under DEV. See here, that are all. Similarly, every directory here which I mentioned has its own purpose and requirement. Okay, and you will not understand total requirement just now with the 5 minutes or 10 minutes of explanation. You will not remember, but as the process of you are doing your administration course, you will learn all the purpose of these devices, where which device file is there, what is the purpose, where should I search. Okay, Dilip, got it? Amarnath, you got it, I suppose. You will get it, don't get confused. For timing, just remember these are the things. When you are doing your administration, you are just practicing your course and all, then you will get to understand the purpose and the use of each and every directory and every file. Okay, Dilip, okay? Amarnath, from your side.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let us see the installation. It is going to run. It is another 5-10 minutes. Please give me 5-10 minutes. It will finish. Tomorrow, because after the installation, tomorrow I will show you how to set up the host name, how to enable the network, and what are the different GUI environments available to GUI environments which can be enabled to log into the server, how to remotely connect to the server, what are the applications available, all these things tomorrow I will show you. Now for timing, just we will finish with the installation. Tomorrow I will show you how to set the host name manually, how to enable the network card and all the IP addresses manually. Apart from that, I will show you what are the different GUI desktop environments available in our server, how to connect to the GUI environment, how to remotely connect to the system, what are the tools available, these all, and what are the different types of users. Because till now we have created user, see here, which I am highlighting here, user Rajesh Ji is created. How the different users are placed, where they log in, all this information tomorrow we will see. Just give me 5 minutes, it will be finished. Just 5 minutes. Any doubts in meanwhile you can ask.
Sir, it will be helpful if you gave any real-time tasks for us. I mean,
yes, I will give. Who said I will not give? I will give. I am ready to give. Now only I am giving. See, I thought of telling when I was finishing the class. Now I am saying only. So today we saw installation of operating system CentOS 7. Task to you. You download CentOS 8 operating system or even RHEL 8 and RHEL 7 from your own side. Download it and install it. First thing, GUI. First do GUI installation. First task for you. I have shown you CentOS 7 GUI installation. I am asking you by yourself download CentOS 8 operating system or RHEL 8 operating system or RHEL 7 operating system and install it in GUI mode by yourself and practice. First question. Remaining. So next question coming is, see, we have got this computer or my laptop supports graphical, means it supports a graphic card, everything is there, so graphical is there. Suppose you want to install the same server, CentOS 7 server, in a 20-year or 25-year-old server hardware, which doesn't support graphics. Then what you are going to do? Any answer from Dilip or Amarnath or Ravindra? My question is that 25 years back, I told you Linux is a portable operating system. Any hardware architecture it can install, but there are few problems. You wanted to install in GUI, you are actually supposed to work in GUI, but that server doesn't support GUI. Then how about you are going to install the same operating system which we have installed in CUI mode? Any idea?
through CLI.
CLI. I am asking next task for you. Now we have installed CentOS 7 server in GUI mode. I am giving you a task, install the same CentOS 7 server in CUI mode. You can search the Google, you can search the internet and get the answer, but not very difficult. Once or twice, if you do the CUI based installation, you will get all the information. Okay, this is the second task. Do CentOS 8 or RHEL 8 installation by yourself, and also implement CentOS 7 CUI based CLI based installation yourself. Try it. If you are having any problem, I'll give you the source how to install. I'll show you. Okay. You can use internet. Amarnath, this is for you also. Ravindra also. Okay. Remember, how much about how many hours you have practiced, how much about you are actually practicing, that much easy it becomes. If you don't practice, then you will not get anything. You will understand for the class. Later, if you keep it aside for few days, you will forget everything. If you don't practice, there is no use of coming to administration. You will forget. That is the honesty I'm saying. I'm closing all the windows, man, because it is taking some RAM and all. Just give me 5 more minutes. It is taking this session will finish in 5 more minutes. I have to show some 1-2 steps after the reboot will be done. Then 5 more minutes, please. Okay. Amarnath, any feedback, man? You're getting what I'm saying, all these things? Any kind of confusion? Okay, because this is taking so much time, I will show you the things directly here. I'm actually having a pictorial implementation. Since the installation is taking so much time, I'm having these things already with me. See, now this is happening here. It is actually, I'm actually having the picture. See, after the installation, it will ask me like this here. CentOS is now successfully installed. That will be showing here. Okay. After it will ask for a reboot. You can see here. I think everybody can see here. Okay. See, it will ask for after this installation, which finishes after this. This will go and it will show you these things. After this, you have to press on reboot. After that reboot, next screen comes like this. Now it is booting for the first time, like this it shows. Okay, after that press next window will be like this, where it is asking information about license information and network. This window comes. You open that license window and select I accept the license agreement and press done here. This done command. Okay. After that, next you press license information is there, network and host name not configured. This you just keep it open. Okay. Now it will ask for the user. You remember I gave the user. So user will be shown like this. You have to actually press next like this. You give the root is the admin user. Next a password. Next it will ask for these things. Like this it will show you where you select your language as English India and just type the next things. Now the Linux starts. This is how the window comes. This is how the finally OS installation is done and it will show like this. Okay, is it done? Shall I stop the class, Ravindra? I showed you the installation of the next steps also in graphical part. Is it okay for you? Because it is taking time, it will be taking some another 5-10 minutes maybe. I showed you the next steps also in graphical. Dilip, is it okay?
Yes, sir. For me, it's okay.
You understood now? Installation, just this, after this performing post installation startup text, which is here, after that it will ask for reboot. After reboot, these are the steps which will come. See, I am showing you it again after the reboot how the different steps come. This is how reboot here. See, this is where reboot is coming. After that reboot, when you press on the reboot, it will show like this. These are the different kernels which are available. This is from the boot directory. Next, you have to press. It will ask for license accepted. After the license is accepted here, next it will ask for these things. Now the user has come. This is the user where you have to log in, but we don't want to log in with Rajesh G user. We want to log in with root. You have to press non-listed on this. After that, give root password. After that, it will ask for language and all these things, and the OS is up and running. This is how it is. See, it is taking some time. Okay, so shall I stop the class, ma'am? Others, apart from Ravindra.
Yes, sir.
So, Amarnath, shall I stop the class? Is it okay? You understood the things. Installation is done. Tomorrow I'll show you how to set up host name, IP address, and other things. Okay, Amarnath is also saying yes. Dilip, okay. See you tomorrow. Bye. I'm ending the class.